So these are the four components what basically we look at whenever we go for the valuation of the bond. So therefore, generally we look at three types of the bonds. One is your called is discount bond. Other one is called the par bond. And the third one is called the premium bond. So when the bond will be a discount bond, when the value of that particular bond or the market value of that particular bond will be less than the par value or the face value of the bond. Right? Let discount rate we are representing at R, coupon is representing at C, maturity period is representing as M, and this is also represented as F. So if the value of the bond will be, market value of the bond will be less than the par value of the bond, then we can call that is a discount bond. Then when this thing will happen? This thing will happen when your coupon is basically, coupon rate is less than or greater than discount rate. The value of the bond will be less than the face value when the coupon will be more than the discount rate or will be less than the discount rate. Yes? Anybody? Yes. Am I audible?
So can you repeat the question?
When the value of the bond will be less than the discount rate, when the coupon will be more, value of the bond will be less than the par value. When the coupon will be more than the discount rate or it will be less than the discount rate?
So less than the discount rate.
Less than the discount rate. So if the coupon rate is less than the discount rate, then we can say that there is a discount bond and the value of the bond will be less than the face value of that particular bond. So that bond is called the discount bond. And if it is a par bond, then obviously your V is equal to F. So in that time, basically your coupon is equal to your discount rate. So if it is, the bond is issued at par, that means the coupon rate is equal to the discount rate. And the premium bond, it is just reverse. It is basically V is greater than F. So in that time, your C will be greater than R. So these are the three types of bonds, basically what we look at or we always see whenever we go for the categorizing the bonds on the basis of the coupon and the discount rate of that particular bond. So whenever we talk about this, we are basically looking at certain kind of relationship with respect to the value of the bond or change in the value of the bond with respect to the change in the coupon, change in the discount rate, and change in the maturity period. So these are the factors which basically affect the value of the bonds whenever we are trying to calculate the, we're trying to make the valuation of the bond in the market. So the first thing is that basically all of you know that already we know the first observations we can make, the bond price moves inversely with the yield or the discount rate. So if your discount rate will increase, then the price of the bond will go down. If the discount rate will increase, then the price of the bond will go down. This is the first relationship what basically we can observe. So another thing also we can observe, because the discount rate or the yield is coming in the denominator. So whenever we are calculating the price, if your coupon is remaining constant, then we can always observe that there is an inverse relationship with the bond price and the yield or the discount rate. Second thing is, for a given change in yield, or in interest rate, given change in interest rate, longer maturity bonds experience larger price change. So if you are comparing two bonds, and one bond is basically with low maturity period and another bond is at high maturity period, then you will observe that always we will observe that the particular change in the bond prices will be more for the larger maturity bonds rather in comparison to the short-term maturity bonds. I'll give you an example. If you see, what does it mean? I will take one case here. There is a bond whose par value is 1,000 rupees. Is 1,000. Coupon is 8%. Okay. And with the different term to maturity, the bonds and the discount rate also will be given to you. If I write that this is your discount rate, then this is your present value of the interest payments or the cash flow or the coupon, then the present value of the par value or the principal, then we can calculate the total value of the bond, then the percentage change in the total price, in the total value, right? So there is a bond, one bond is whose maturity period is 1 year, another bond is 10 years, another bond is 20 years, and another bond is 30 years. For each bond, the par value is 1,000 and coupon is 8%. The first discount rate was 7%. I will directly give you the calculations. If it is a 1 year bond, if you discount it with respect to coupon means 8 rupees, 80 rupees they will get. So the present value of the interest will be 80 divided by 1.07. So that will come in 75. Par value is the 1,000. Then 1,000 divided by 1.07 again, it is only 1 year bond. Then that is coming 934. So the total value is coming 1,009, right? But the interest rate has increased to 10%. The discount rate has increased to 10%. Then the present value has become, it will reduce, then it will become 73, it will become 907, then total will become 980. So the percentage change, if you compare between these two, it is minus 2.9%. So what basically we have seen here, if there is a coupon rate of 8%, and whenever the particular bond's discount rate was 7%, we are getting the total value 1009. And whenever the discount rate has changed from 7 to 10%, the value of the bond has become 980. So there is a percentage change in the total value that is coming between these two discount rates. So that is basically coming minus 2.9%. We will come to the 10 years bond. So again, this scenario is 7% and 10%. And what we have seen, the if you go for discounting it with respect to 10 years, the principal, whatever you are getting, that will be coming 569. And your present value of the principal will be 505. Then total will be 10474. And at the rate of 10%, it will be coming 498. You can check it later. And the present value of the principal will come on 377. And we are getting 875. Total value will be 875. Then what is the percentage change? The percentage change has become minus 18.5%. So same thing, if you do it for 20 years and 30 years bond, you will find that the percentage change will come. I have already calculated it. I am just giving you the figure that will come minus 28.7%. What does it mean? If your coupon rate is constant, if there is a change in interest rate, then the price change of a long-term bond, what basically we have observed, for a given change in the yield or the interest rate, the longer maturity bonds experience larger price change. Or we can say that the bond price volatility is directly related to the term to maturity. If the term to maturity, that means a high term maturity bonds always show the greater fluctuations if there is a change in the interest rate in the market. Is it clear? Yes or no? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
So can I remove this?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, isn't the coupon rate same as discount rate? I mean, that is what we assumed in case of valuation of bond, right?
No. Coupon rate is not equal to the discount rate every time. It is if it is a par bond, then the coupon will be equal to the discount rate. Coupon is the mark. Coupon is the rate which basically is fixed by the issuer whenever they have issued the bond. So it does not change. But whenever we are talking about the valuation of the bond, that thing is depending upon the interest rate prevailed in the market. Is it clear?
So that means whenever we are whenever we are evaluating a bond, do we always assume that the coupon rate is equal to the discount rate?
No. You don't assume.
Okay, so we have just discussed a special case in which both of them are equal, right?
No, here I have not given in equal. Achha, you are talking about what is your question? The question is basically you are assuming that I have taken a 1-year bond and 10-year bond, and both the cases the coupon rates are same. That what you are asking.
No, sir. I mean, in the previous class where we have discussed the valuation of bond, there we assume that the coupon rate is same as that of discount rate.
No, I think we have taken the coupon rate is 9% and discount rate is 10%. If I correctly remember.
Yes, sir. 9%, 10%.
The coupon rate was 9% and discount rate was 10%. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
It is not same rate. Here also I have not assumed the coupon is equal to the discount rate. Here the coupon is 8% and discount rate is one case I have taken 7%, or another case I have taken 10%. 7% to 10% it has increased. So if the discount rate will change, then basically the price change, basically if you observe, the price change is basically more for the high maturity bonds than the short maturity bonds. Are you getting my point? Array.
Yes, sir, I got it.
So in this case, basically what we have seen that the longer term maturity bonds price volatility is higher. So that's why we say that the investment in the longer term period is relatively risky in comparison to the short term period, because there is a possibility that if there is a change in interest rate, then the price change of your particular bond can move to a larger extent in comparison to the short maturity bonds. Okay. Then next thing is basically another observations what basically you can find that bond price change or bond price volatility increases at a diminishing rate as term to maturity increases. You could get this point. Here also you can see first whenever we have taken it is minus 2.9%, then it has become minus 18.5%, then it has become 25.7%, then it will become 28.7%. So this is a 1 year maturity bond, this is a 10-year maturity bond, this is a 20 years maturity bond, and this is a 30 years maturity bond. So whenever your interest rate has changed from 7% to 10%, you will find that the price change basically or volatility is increasing, but it is increasing at a diminishing rate. From 1 year to 10 year, if you see, the price change from minus 2.9 to minus 18.5. But from 10 year to 20 year, if you see, it is minus 18.5 to minus 25.7. And from 20 years to 30 years, if you see, it is from minus 25.7 to minus 28.7. So that's why that is another observations what basically we can see, that the bond price volatility increases at a diminishing rate as term to maturity increases. Okay. So in this case, one observations what basically also you can draw, or one conclusion we can draw from this. Then another question is, what is the effect of coupon on the bond price volatility? Effect of the coupon, change in the coupon on bond price volatility or bond price change. If you see this, I am taking a bond whose maturity period is 10 years. 20 years you can say. Maturity period is 20 years. And the par value or F is equal to let 1000. Then we'll see that there are different bonds, how basically the interest rate is, whenever there is a change in interest rate, how the bond price is changing. So there is a bond, same thing we can write, the discount rate, your present value of interest payments or the coupon, your present value of principal, your total value, and percentage change in the total value. Right? So whenever you go for this, then we'll see that there is a bond whose coupon rate is 3%. Another bond whose coupon rate is 8%. And another bond whose coupon rate is 12%. Right? So the discount rate was beginning 7%. So there are two scenarios we have to consider. And it has increased from 7% to 10%. The same thing. Right? So if you are calculating the present value of interest for 3% coupon, these are the coupon, 3% coupon, this is 8% coupon, this is 12% coupon. Then what will be the value of the bond in this case? The value of the bond will be at 7%, the interest basically If you discount it, you will get 322, right? Then your present value of the principal will be 257. Okay. Then your total value is coming 579, right? And at the rate of the 10%, this value will become 257. This value will become 142. Then your total value has come 399. So there is a change of 31.1%, right? And whenever there is a 8% coupon, if you observe here, let the interest rate was 7% and it has increased to 10%. Then what basically you will find that this particular thing, or we can say that the valuation will be at the rate of 7%, the value become 858 for the interest, and your principal will be 257. Then that will become 1115. This is will be 868. Sorry, 886. This is 142. This will become 828. Then that has become minus 25.7%. And like that, if you go for 12% coupon bonds, you will find a interest rate price change fluctuations of 24.1%. So what basically you have observed here from this? Yes? Can you tell me? Yes. Are you getting my point?
Yes,
Are you
sir.
getting? What
Sir,
is the what?
coupon rate is inversely proportional to the bond price volatility. It change.
Yes. So there is a inverse relationship between the bonds coupon rate and the price volatility. So that means if there is an interest rate change, bonds having low coupon rates will show the higher or greater price sensitivity in comparison to the bonds having high coupon rates. The bonds having high coupon rates will show the lower sensitivity or the lesser sensitivity in comparison to the bonds having the high coupon rates. Sorry, low coupon rates. So this is what basically another kind of observations what we can draw whenever we try to establish the relationship between bond and the coupon rates. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, so then we have another properties also we can observe from this, that how the yield is affecting the bond price volatility. How the yield is affecting the bond price volatility. Let me again give you certain hypothetical number. If there is a bond where the maturity period is, let's say, 20 years, coupon is 4%. Your par value of the bond is 1,000. Okay. Let us will take 3 different bonds. The bonds having low yield. One is your intermediate yield or medium yield. Then we have the high yield. Okay. So here, if I say that this is your discount rate, let this bond yield was 3% in the low yield category. From 3% to it has increased to 4%. Intermediate yield, it was 6%. Then from 6% to let it has increased to 8%. Then it is let 9%. 9% to it has increased to 12%. Right? So then if you calculate this value of the bond the same way, what basically the present value of interest, the present value of principal, then the total value and change, if you see. So here in the case of 3%, it will be coming 602, it is 562. The total will become 1164. And this is because the coupon is equal to your discount rate in this case, then obviously you will get your total value will be equal to 1000. So this will coming 547, it is 453, and this is 1000. Then your change has become minus 14.1%. Second case, if you see here from 6% to 8%, I'm directly writing the total value. It is coming 769, then it is coming 604. Then it has become minus 21.5%. From 9% to 12%, if you see here in this case, what basically we have seen that your total value has become 545, then it is 398, then this is become minus 27%. Minus 27%. What basically you have observed from here? Can you tell me? Yes?
The direct proportionality.
Hmm?
So there's a direct relationship between yield and the volatility, bond price volatility.
Okay. When the rates change by a upper, you see, whenever we have seen the previous cases, when the rate change by the constant percentage, equal percentage, the change in the bond price is larger when the rates are higher at a higher level. That we have seen, right? But in this case, what basically you have observed? Same thing you have observed or not?
So the rates are changing at a different rate. The first one is just 1%, the second is 2%, and the third is 3% change.
So what is the conclusion you can draw?
A higher change is sir, higher change gives us higher volatility of the bond price. If there's a high change in discount rate, then there's a higher change. Higher
Higher
change
change
in
in the rates. But
yes.
I will give you another case here also for a high coupon rates in same example. If you see, let this is changed from 9% to 10%. So whenever this rate has changed from 9% to 10%, let we have got the price 545, then 485, then change is minus 11%. Then what does it mean? Now what you have observed?
For a given change in discount rate, the one with higher yield gives us a lower change.
Lower change. It is just reverse. No? Whenever
Yes.
it has increased from 6% to 8%, you change as 21.5. From 9 to 12, we get minus 27. But here, whenever it was 3 to 4%, we got a change of minus 14.1%. But whenever it is 9% to 10%, we have got a change of minus 11%. Yes or no? From 3% to 4% change, the price change was 14.1%. But with the same 1% change, from 9% to 10%, we find a change of 11%. So what basically we can say that the yield level effect can differ. And what basically depends on that? It basically depends on whether the yield change is specified at a constant percentage change or not. So if it is constantly changing, you can find a different result. But if it is there is a rate change in terms of the percentage by like 6% to 8%, 9% to 12% and all, then you will find that there is a possibility that this particular change will be different, or the particular price change will be different. So these are basically the different kind of observations what we can draw whenever we are trying to examine the price volatility or price change of a particular bond due to the change in the coupon, due to the change in the interest rates, and as well as change in the maturity period. So therefore, the bond price volatility is always depending upon the coupon, term to maturity, then yield level. Coupons and term to maturity, these are under the control of the issuing authority, who are basically issuing this particular bond. But the yield is not basically always derived, or maybe we can say that determined by the issuing authority or by the investing authority. The yield is completely determined by the market forces or the market interest rate. So therefore, the always our concern, our objective is to understand what basically that yield and how that particular interest rate of a different type of bonds are determined. So these are the two questions basically always we face, and how basically we can calculate that yield. So there are different type of yield concepts. There are different type of yield concepts in the bond valuation or in the bond market always we use. The first one is basically what we call it the current yield. The yield. There are different types of yield basically what we observe in the market. And the first one basically sometimes people use the different terminology. Let me give you an idea. There is a we can start with the nominal yield. You know what is nominal yield of a bond? Nominal yield of a bond is nothing but the coupon rate. Okay. Then what is the current yield? Coupon rate means in the sense how we get the coupon rate. It is the total coupon paid in a periodical basis, the coupon payments divided by the face value of the bond or par value of the bond. But current yield, if you talk about, it is the annual coupon. You write annual every time. It is the annual coupon payments divided by the market price of the bond. Market price of the bond. Are you getting this? Are you getting this difference? Hello?
Yes,
or
sir.
no? Huh?
Yes,
Let
sir.
if I write you are getting your par value is or face value is 1000 and you are getting 80 rupees RS 80 rupees coupon every year or 90 rupees, then your 90 divided by 100 3,000, 9%. That is basically your coupon or the nominal yield. That is the nominal yield. But if you market in that particular time, the bond is traded in the market. Let previous example we can take, or previous class, whatever the market price we have calculated some. What was the market price? We have calculated 938.55, right? You remember in the previous class? Then your 90 divided by your 938.55, whatever thing you will get, that will basically will be your current yield. So coupon divided by the market price is giving you the current yield, and your coupon, annual coupon payment divided by your par value of the bond, that will give you the nominal yield. But the most important thing is about this yield basically is the yield to maturity. The most important thing in the bond market is that is called the yield to maturity. So what is yield to maturity? I'll just show you what do we mean by the yield to maturity. In short, we call it YTM, yield to maturity. So what do we mean by the yield to maturity? It is that particular yield, or the rate which equates the price of the bond, to the present value of the bond's cash flow. Okay, that means it is the interest rate which will make the present value of the cash flow equal to the price of that particular bond or price of that particular investment. So that means, for example, you go back our previous class example. We have taken a bond whose maturity period is 10 years. Coupon is 9%. Let on that particular day or particular year, the bond is priced at 938.55. The bond market price is 938.55. So from this, it is just reverse. Instead of calculating the price, let price is already available in the market. So if you want to calculate the yield from that particular bond, then what basically we do? We know our price calculation. P is equal to your summation. T is equal to 1 to M. Your C by 1 plus R to the power T plus your F by 1 plus R to the power M. That we know. So here the P is given, that is 938.55. Your period is given, it is 10 years. Coupon is 9%, it is given 90. It is 1 plus R to the power T plus your F is given, that is 1000 divided by 1 plus R to the power 10. From this equation, we have to find out the R. From this equation, we have to extract this R, and this R is basically your YTM or yield to maturity. So if you solve this equation, then you'll find the yield will be coming 10%. It will be coming 10%. So previously, using the 10% yield or 10% discount rate, we have calculated this price. But in this case, what basically we are doing, we are basically calculating this yield from the price itself. Price is already given. and from the price basically we are calculating the yield. So then this the yield may be also changed depending upon the frequency of the coupon payments. If you go back, whenever we have tried to calculate the value of the coupon on the basis of semi-annual interest, we get this 937.68. So that actually, if you see, that will be t is equal to 1 to 20, then it will be 45 divided by 1 plus r to the power t plus your 1000 divided by 1 plus r to the power 20. That is basically, if you solve it, then you will find it will be coming 0.05 approximately. Then it is semi-annual, then you can multiply by 2, that will give you your 10% interest or 10% yield. But if you want to calculate the effective annual rate, from this, then already I told you, the effective annual rate will be 1.05 to the power 2 minus 1. That will give you 10.25%. So this is the way basically the yield to maturity can be calculated. So yield to maturity is the effective rate of return. So this yield to maturity has three components. The yield to maturity has three components. One is the coupons. One is your capital gains or losses, whatever you have made. Then also it includes the what we can say that reinvestment of the coupons in the market with that particular calculated YTM. Anyway, that I will come to later whenever we calculate the total return of the particular bond. But my next question is, can you calculate your YTM from this equation perfectly or accurately? Yes. Anybody? Which rate perfectly will equalize your market price of the bond is equal to the present value of these cash flows? Can you find out the R from this equation perfectly?
Sir, by using a calculator, I don't understand the question.
Anything. If,
Yes,
if
sir.
you are,
Yes,
Yes,
we can find it exactly.
you can find out exactly. But let your cash flows are not constant. Assume your cash flows are not constant. Let, because of certain kind of reasons, this coupon is changing, or maybe some other kind of external factors, your cash flows are not constant in that way. So is it possible to calculate this YTM perfectly?
No, sir, in that case it will be hard.
It will not be possible. So in that case, we are going for a trial and error method, which exactly can equalize this R with the present value of this particular cash flows. But generally, for the calculation purpose, we have a concept.
Why can't we calculate it if the cash flows are, if they're different, but we have the value of the cash flows, right?
You have the value of the cash flows, but exactly every year or every quarter, basically, or every semi-annually, if the cash flow is changing, then there is sometimes actually you will find some difficulty in terms of perfectly finding the R. Okay. So because of this, in the calculation part, we have a concept we use that is called the average rate to maturity. The average rate to maturity. So that average rate to maturity concept will give you a kind of probable values of the yield to maturity. Then the yield to maturity may be somewhere nearby that. The particular kind of yield what you are trying to find out, it will be close to that. That's why it is an approximation formula. The YTM can be estimated using this ARTM, the average rate to maturity, and this is the approximation formula that we can use. Then what is that formula you can use? that ARTM is equal to coupon plus F minus price of the bond, okay, divided by M, the maturity period, whole divided by the F plus the price of the bond divided by 2. So in our example, if you see, our coupon was 90. Our face value was 1000. Our price of the bond was 938.55, right? And our M was 10. Divided by your 1000 plus 938.55 divided by 2. And you will find it will be coming around 0.0992. That means 9.92%. This will be more or less very close to 10%. It is not exactly 10%, but it will be close to 10%. So the ARTM is used for, maybe just like a kind of it will guide you that what could be the probable yield from that particular bond in a simplified manner. So that's why we use this particular ARTM to, and after that you can use some trial and error method to find out that exact rate of this yield to maturity. So this is one kind of method or certain kind of ways through which the yield to maturity also can be calculated. But if I will ask you that yield to maturity of a zero coupon bond, how we calculate? YTM on zero coupon bond. All of you know that zero coupon bond does not pay any interest in between. There is no periodic cash flow involved in that. How we can calculate? Anybody can? Very fast. What is the price formula for the zero coupon bond? P is equal to
F by 1 plus R whole power M.
F by 1 plus R to the power M. Yes or no? Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So F by 1 plus R to the power M, then your 1 plus R to the power M will be automatically your F by P. Then your automatic, your YTM will be F by P. Yes or no? Minus 1. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that means your YTM will be your F by P to the power 1 by M. It will be more appealing to write minus 1. So that is the way basically the YTM of a zero coupon bond can be calculated, because there is no periodic cash flow involved in that particular case, right? So you know that how basically it can be used. For example, if I tell you that a zero coupon bonds price is we can say 800 rupees. Your face value is 1000 rupees. M is equal to 3 years. Okay. Then how basically you can calculate? This is 1000 divided by 800 to the power 1 by 3 minus 1. So that is the way basically it can be calculated. But if the maturity period is less than 1 year, then you can use this day count conventions. Let for zero coupon bond, if you are using the actual by actual, let if I tell M is equal to 182 days, then automatically let P is equal to 96, F is equal to 100, then M is equal to 182 days. then your automatic your maturity period, if it is 182 days, then you have to make it annualized. Then it day count convention, it is 182 by 365. Then your YTM will become 100 divided by 96 to the power 182 by divided by, it is 365 by 182 होगा ना, 182 by 365 होगा. Yes,
365 by 182.
365 by 182 minus 1. That will be equal to 8.53%. So that is the way basically what we can use this YTM of a zero coupon bond, because there is no periodic cash flow involved. That is the way we can find out this yield. And there are some other yield concepts and how the yield is basically measured in the market. There are certain kind of theories behind that. There are certain kind of methods behind that. That we'll discuss in the next class. Okay, we can stop here.